right. Welcome to the stream. We're about to start in a minute or two. You know what I'm saying? Just wait for everybody to get into the chat room. If you could hear the music, please hit press 1 in the chat so I know that you can hear the music. If you can hear the music, please press a 1 in the chat for me. So I know what's actually going on here. So, we're doing some tests, trying to start some new things, some intro music and so much like that. We got a very interesting topic today. This COVID-19 and faith. This COVID-19 and this faith is going. All right. Hit music. Thank you very much for hitting that 1 in the chat. Thank you very much. Enjoy that so much. Thank everybody for stopping by, supporting the channel. Who we have in the chat right here. All right. We got Blackfield Paradise. We have, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Bismillah Rabani. I hope I say your name correctly. We have Chaos Rain in the house. We have CRU Reality. Also, I have CRU Reality. Okay, so we like to make these streams quick and to the point. We get it down probably to educate you all. And thank you very much. We're going to start very quickly. Usually I do some news articles and stuff like that, but today I got something special. We got a couple of news clips. Got a couple of things that came from the AP. And you can go check those clips with things in the description. Then I'll jump on some other things, and then I'll just be freewheeling from there. And then I'll open up the with some closing remarks or something like that. I'm trying something different, basically for your midday drive time. So we're basically starting this. It is about 6 minutes after 10:30 on the East Coast. But we're starting this. Make sure it's great. DJ Music. Thank you for joining us. Supreme Elder. Thank you for coming through. I'm going to play this track one more time just to get everybody to fill in here. Please, everyone, please greet each other in the chat. Please greet each other. Say hello. Please, let's just give each other a warm welcome. And we'll just get this kicked off. Let me know you can hear this. And let's get it going. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. A castle in the sky. We can leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. A castle right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the 1/3. Okay, this is a show about the 1/3, and it's the 1/3 of the information that you will actually look at, actually see, probably won't even actually pay attention to. This is your boy, Just DeAndre. That's me coming live from you right now. It is almost 11:40 at night in Japan, but I'm bringing you this information. And I like to do these streams. I'm trying to find the perfect time to catch each and every last one of you so you can actually give me your attention while I'm giving you this information. The news, the articles, and the things like that, they're in the bylines. Sometimes they may hit the headlines, sometimes they may not. But I like to talk about a lot of things. Today, we will be talking about COVID-19 and faith. Okay, COVID-19 and faith. A lot of times that we do things as individuals. We're led by information, and sometimes we're led by our belief system. And sometimes our belief system will get us through a lot of things, and sometimes our belief system will get us in a lot of trouble. So this is more like, medical science versus actually your belief system when you've been told. Sometimes you do need that faith, you need that hope to get through, but other times you need to use judgment. I am a believer in, I started in a faith of Christianity. All of us came from somewhere else in some type of faith, because before you can understand things, it's easier to understand things that are told to you. For example, when I grew up, I didn't understand why people would pray over olive oil but use Crisco to actually eat. And then you find out later in your life that you're supposed to actually use olive oil to eat, and you're not supposed to cook with Crisco, right? So I appreciate it, chaos. Appreciate it. But these are the things that we are, as a people, we should understand, that blind loyalty, blind faith, without even questioning sometimes. And questioning is good, once the information is there. Certain things are not explained, if you think too much sometimes. So you have to have an equal balance. Now, what I would like to do and ask everybody, if you could, excuse me, if you could like, share, and subscribe to this, for the channel, and that would basically greatly help everything. P. Shar Willie, thank you for coming through. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a couple of clips. Basically, I'm going to play a couple of clips from this from what I want to show you guys, and this is from the AP. Okay, so I'm gonna play a couple of clips here so you guys can see this. Okay.
People are spread out all over this campus, and like in the main sanctuary this morning, may have been 400 in there. But the hotspot is New Orleans, not here. But even if you're in New Orleans, you still have the right to assemble peaceably. Y'all need to shut the church down!
How can you serve your mission from a distance? Businesses are figuring this out right now. Government's figuring it out. COVID is unpredictable, and we're learning new things about it literally every day. There are so many more questions than answers. Why would you want to put your loved ones at risk like that?
Now, what you just witnessed was a church that's in Louisiana, by a pastor named Tony. I guess his name Tony Spell. He got arrested for actually going against the order, basically saying that people need to go to church, opening the doors to the church. having you'll see in detail he'll have some buses or some things like that, and we'll break down this upcoming video, but that was just a snippet, just an intro, so you guys can understand what is actually going on, right? There's a stay-at-home standing order in place. Louisiana, just like New York, California, and many other states are right now, they're in a state of emergency. Basically, I know there's Minnesota, and there's other places that are in a state of emergency, and that means stay at home, right? But with these people, they're going to church, they're being around folk, they're going there to I guess have their services and fellowships and things of that nature, but it's highly contagious. This virus is something that we've never seen. It's attacking people with pre-existing conditions. And if you know anything, people that are in church are most susceptible to this virus, because a lot of people use their faith instead of actually going to the doctor, seeking help, and anything like that. So what I'm basically trying to figure out with this is, where does this make sense? How does this make sense? So I'm going to start playing some things, and so people can take in there, and I want the interaction from the chat. Please ask questions. Please throw those questions up, and you know, and let us know. You know, like, how do you feel about it? So you know, I mean, and you know, throw those questions already, so we can get to the bottom of this. We can have dialogue about this, because a lot of us, you know, are in a time of trouble, right? You know, a lot of people that weren't so spiritual or so religious now, because of this world pandemic, they're going to start reaching for things in scriptures and things in their Torahs and Qurans and Bibles and news and Old Testaments and things of that nature. But this is a slippery slope. Bad enough we're being fear mongered by the media, and believe so, but we weren't properly prepared for a lot of things, and this is going to change some things. But we need to understand how faith can play a role in this, and how having too much faith in religion and not enough spirituality can put you in a bind. So let me show you this, what's next here. This here. All right. So this is the whole.
You're not worried about the virus?
No, I'm not. I have no reason to be.
And you guys won't get the virus because of your beliefs?
Yes.
No, I won't get the virus because Jesus says I'm not.
God inside.
Now, please notice what this woman just said. She just said that I will not get the virus because Jesus said I won't. I'm going to rewind that. So you can hear it.
No, I'm not. I have no reason to be.
And you guys won't get the virus because of your beliefs?
Yes.
No, I won't get the virus because Jesus says I'm not.
God is.
I want to make this apparent. And this is where you have to really understand something. And you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself a couple of questions, right? And please, like, this makes no sense. So I'm gonna let this keep playing, and I'm gonna stop it in a minute.
We have nothing to worry about. You're good.
I moved here from Texas for this church, so it's definitely essential in my life.
We are continuing to have services with some restrictions.
Now, that was the pastor. This man right here. This is the pastor. This is Tony Spell, pastor, Life Tabernacle Church in Louisiana. I think it's in Baton Rouge, if I'm not mistaken. This makes I'm like, the man does not look like he is not sound intellectually. Like, he doesn't look like he there's something wrong with him. And looks can be deceiving. But why is he doing this? Right? And a lot of times in religion, it is rooted in a lot of financial gain. Okay, it is rooted in a lot of financial gain. All right, but let's continue. Let's continue.
Services with some restrictions.
Okay, so hundreds of worshipers attended Sunday service at the Life Tabernacle Church in central Louisiana on April 5th, despite a statewide stay-at-home order during the coronavirus pandemic. The church's pastor, Tony Spell, was arrested on March 31st and charged with 6 misdemeanors for violating the order, but he has vowed to continue holding services. Now, I want you to understand, and this is very key, right? Hundreds of worshipers. So we're looking at this building right here, and I would like to, take this to the chat. Is how many people do you think could fit in this building? If they're saying hundreds, I'm pretty sure we're talking about over probably about 500 people or so, right? That are loading up into this building. This building is huge. Like, that's not a small building. That's not a small building. Malika, that is part of the problem, isn't it? Type of people that will hide it if they have it. Exactly. That is part of the problem, right? Wouldn't that be? Wouldn't that be part of the problem? That's excellent that you said that. It's excellent that you said that. Let me continue with this video here. Let me keep it going here.
We have told our older parishioners and our parishioners that have pre-existing conditions to stay home. We take everyone's temperature when they come through the doors.
Okay. Now, look at what I want, because I like to break things down when I watch things, right? I don't just take things at face value, right? Because, see, when you have video evidence, right? Now, they're talking about social distancing, right? Social distancing, I guess they were talking about at least 6 feet. For me, this does not look like 6 feet. They're walking to church. They're holding hands. This gentleman is walking on the curb. I guess he must be a deacon or some type of church official in the church. Okay.
Parishioners that have pre-existing.
Look at this right here. This lady's got off this bus. This church has a school bus. Now, this school bus, to me, it doesn't look like a short yellow bus, right? They tell you got off the short yellow bus, right? Right? They tell you got off the short yellow bus. But this doesn't look like a short yellow bus to me. This looks like a standard passenger school bus. A standard passenger school bus. So this lady is in some type of she's hurt. She's got some pre-existing condition. She's more susceptible to the virus. And what is she doing? She's taking down her walker, wheelchair, whatever. She's placing it down, and she is about to go talk to God. Yes, she's about to go talk to God. Right?
To stay home. We take everyone's temperature when they come through the doors.
Okay. How are you going to take a temperature like that where you're looking at ambient temperatures and stuff like that? This thing has to be closer to you. He's not wearing any face mask protection. He's not wearing any gloves. Is he a medical official? Matter of fact, the man there with the Bibles in his hand that's dressed looks more official to take someone's temperature than this man right here. So you have the blind leading the blind. Here's the question. You're worried about the coronavirus. We're going to a church, but why do you have a metal detector? Can someone ask me that question? Why do you have a metal detector? Why? This makes absolutely no sense to me. No mask, no gloves, no nothing. That is true. We'll talk about that in a second too. People are still dating Exactly. It's only her on the bus. Where's the driver? Oh well, they parked the bus. We'll see that later. CRU. Yeah, some people are still escorting the trick, and somebody's got to make some money, right? I think they did that with the strippers in uh, Washington State. They did that in Washington State. Yes, no mask, no gloves. DJ Music. Yes, no mask, no gloves, but he's taking someone's temperature. And this is not even going to give you an accurate reading because he's too far away. They actually have to be closer, almost measuring your forehead. And this is not as accurate, but it's really not as accurate where he has it. You don't. If you're trying to measure the temperature of something, you have to have contact with it. Thermometers work that way. You can't just have a thermometer out and then think you're going to get the temperature of something. It has to actually contact. But then you would have to sanitize. There's no gloves. There's no sanitation. There's no anything. You're out in the open. There's no enclosure a little bit so you can get that direct temperature. This is wild. This is crazy.
We have people use hand sanitizer often. We have
The church has an attorney, mind you. Now think about this. Joe Long. If you notice, everyone in the church that is an official in the church is dressed in the same manner, black and white on. So he's explaining what's going on in the church, and he's saying some things. So let me bring this back before he comes into screen.
We have people use hand sanitizer often. We have refrained from handshaking and hugging until after this pandemic is over. We're maintaining 6 feet.
Okay, he said we're maintaining 6 feet. We have people using hand sanitizer often. We're refraining from kissing and hugging until this pandemic is over with. Well, here's the thing. You're lying, right? Because we just saw video evidence of they're not maintaining 6 feet. You see a couple walking up. There's 3 people. There's no 6 feet in front of them or behind them. They're holding each other's hands. I didn't see any hand sanitizer being used. I didn't see any mask. I didn't see any type of protection for the person that's supposed to take the temperature or not. And then we get in the next clip, a mother is bringing her, I guess this is her daughter, and they're hugging. That is hugging because she's got the daughter over her shoulders. Why do you have the little baby there in a church full of people that could potentially have this virus? This makes no sense to me. No whatsoever. None whatsoever. CRU, yes, the blind leading the blind, rather the stupid leading the ignorant. Exactly. They don't think God can stop a gun. See, hey, but it can stop. It can stop. It's like the Holy Ghost, right? So let me continue to play this.
Come to church and worship like free people than they had lived like prisoners in their homes for 22 days now.
Now look at this right here. This does not look like 6 feet. People are hanging out. People are talking. People are, look at this right here. If this was 6 feet, you got to maintain that 6 feet entering and leaving. Like you see more order being done at the grocery store. They taking great measures at the grocery store. There's a lady sitting on the bench. There's a gentleman walking behind. This is not 6 feet. This looks like a rush hour of everybody getting off the train. Look at all of this. People are close to each other. People are talking. I see some hugging right here. I see a brother handshake right here. I see people on top of each other. Look at this.
Be that the depression and the anxiety and the emotion, depression and the anxiety.
Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this mother and daughter right here. Arm underneath arm. This man's right here talking to his significant other. Look at this. Look at this. This right here is like, please infect everybody in this church.
And the emotion problems that we're facing right now, clinical problems that is being brought on by this virus. Could it be that it is worse than the people who have already contracted this virus and died.
Now, notice what he just said. This is very telling, and you can tell that this man is a master manipulator of people in their time of need.
And the anxiety and the emotion problems that we're facing right now, clinical problems that is being brought on by this virus. Could it be that it is worse than the people who have already contracted this virus and died?
Now, listen to his verbiage. Listen to his verbiage. He said, could it be that having emotional problems brought about from this virus, clinical problems because of being isolated, is way worse than contracting the virus itself? So you're saying that the people that are perfectly healthy because they can't stay in the house, this is a time for them to come in fellowship, because this is where you can get the most parishioners. You got to understand something about religion, right? Religion is the best way to subvert people and to control people in their time of need. When they are not getting the logical answers that they need, you can control a massive group of people by giving them something to believe in, where they want to understand the things that they cannot understand. And he is taking advantage of these people's ignorance and their fear and not understanding, but you'll be surprised, because there will be some people that will hold this man accountable. Now let's move on.
I think it's utterly ridiculous that they're doing what they're doing. I have an idea of why. To me, they're just afraid they're not going to get enough money in the collection plate. And if you notice, they go around picking up people like the elderly, who is vulnerable, and is listening to what they say.
Whoa! What? Can we give this? Can we give this? Did this woman just say something? Did this woman just say something? Did this woman just? Did she just right there sitting in her car? Did she just break down exactly what was going on? And look how serious this woman has to be about, maybe, she might be 65, but she looked like 85. The palm colored people kind of look like balled up aluminum foil and wax paper. But you have to understand, look at this lady right here. She is dropping all kinds of tools and knowledge and things of that nature. Let me bring that back so you guys can totally get what she's saying if you missed anything, right?
They're just afraid they're not going to get enough money in the collection plate.
Not going to get enough money in a collection plate. Do you guys realize that the first banks in the civilized world were churches? When you would go and they would conquer another town or a city or anything, they would raid the temples because the temples had money. Did you know that your banking system that you have, the double entry banking system, was actually invented by the Romans, but was ran by the Jews when Rome had occupation of Jerusalem and so forth, and that the church basically, or the temples basically, supplied the money, loaned and actually had a jurisdiction over commerce. And that's why in our Constitution, church and state is separate. Look at how much control in a pandemic this church has. Imagine if this church had total government influence and it was not separate. Imagine.
If you notice, they go around picking up people like the elderly.
Look at this lady.
Who is vulnerable and is listening to what they say.
Picking up people like the elderly who's vulnerable and listen to what they say.
The poorest of
Look at these buses. Look at these buses. Look, how much money do you think one of these buses costs to run, maintain, and they have
or do not have cars or other ways to get to church. So this church has 26 buses.
26 buses. 26 buses. 26 buses. Are you serious? Are you serious? I can't believe this. 26 buses. They're in Baton Rouge. This place looks like they probably got more buses to get people to and from church than they got probably in that whole little city or something like that. 26 buses. You know what I'm saying? Before we continue, salute the Poetic Kells. Thank you for stopping by. Cruz, she's not elderly. She's 24. They don't age well. Crew. But 26 buses. I'm how much money, like all these people, you could be doing some outreach. You could be giving something back to the community. You're just picking up people just to bring them to church so they can put their hard-earned dollars and coins. Like this is crazy. I don't understand. I really don't. But let's continue because it gets worse.
And they go and they pick up their congregation all throughout the Baton Rouge general metropolitan area. We don't believe the governor's order is legal because.
Whoa. What is this, the mascot? What is this, the mascot? I'm confused.
The federal constitution and the state constitution protect our right of free exercise and our right to peacefully assemble for that purpose. As far as we know, we don't have any reported cases. We expect that some of our congregation will eventually get it, just like the rest of the country, and we will deal with it when it comes.
Listen to what this lawyer said. I'm gonna bring it back.
Is legal because both the federal constitution and the state constitution protect our right of free exercise and our right to peacefully assemble for that.
Okay. Now see how they have somebody there, right? And then he's saying this because he's a lawyer. But here's the thing: when you put and you declare a state of emergency, that's almost there's steps in place, and martial law goes in effect. So this supersedes your constitutional rights for the greater whole of the people that you put these people in power to actually regulate you. So he's basically saying that you don't have to listen to what's going on because we know better. Come here and spend your coins. Come here to spend your coins. Let's continue.
As far as we know, we don't have any reported cases. We expect that some of our congregation will eventually get it, just like the rest of the country.
Now, listen to what he said. We suspect that the rest of our congregation will get it, like the rest of the country. We suspect. Wow. That's telling, right? That's very telling, right? We suspect that the rest of our congregation will get it, just like the rest of the country. But wouldn't your congregation be more at risk of getting it if everyone is on top of each other in those pews? Because it looked like that church is full, because they got the buses rolling in and out.
And we will deal with it when it comes. I mean, we don't have an invisible shield that protects us.
Well, that's all you got to do is trust the Lord. If you trust the Lord, people in the Bible didn't been healed.
I preach we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We had an emotional time, had water baptisms, and a lot of people saved today.
Whoa. Hold up. Wait a minute. You're telling me that y'all did water baptisms in the church? So I got corona. I don't know, because there's a 14 to 28 day incubation period. And a lot of people don't even show symptoms of having it, right? And you don't even know what those symptoms are. You can have a headache, you can have some sniffles, you can have a cough, you can be a little dizzy, you can have a little fever, you can have nothing. Then I'm going to get in this pool and you're going to drop me down and come up and praise Jesus. And then the next person's going to come down and I'm getting all of my little stuff coming out of my throat, ears, nose, and whatever, and it's floating around in that pool. We sharing water, not water, but water. We sharing water for the Lord. Praise him. This is crazy. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Now you notice the pastor's driving the vehicle to pick you up. Now, I don't like to go off of people's looks because everybody's whatever, but this young man, this looks like his mama, and she got teeth missing. And he is, every time she talks or he talks, he looked to her for approval to say whatever he needs to say. I'm like, he doesn't look too rat tight to me. He looks like somebody off of one of those horror movies where you get caught coming off one of them interstates. I'm just saying.
Faith, don't fear. I don't have fear. I have faith.
I'm not scared of this virus. When it's my time, it's my time. If you're scared to die, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die.
I'm gonna bring that back. So y'all understand what this man just said. And I don't usually do this because I like to be on code without people. But we done moved up to, but you know.
Fear, I have faith.
I'm not scared of this virus. When it's my time, it's my time.
You heard what that man said. As he's not scared of this virus, it's my time, it's my time. But no one told you that you have to take unnecessary risk, right? You can get past this virus, walk across the street and get hit, you know what I'm saying, by a car. Or you can, go to plug something up and electrocute yourself. You can I'm like,
Scared to die. Everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. When my day come, I ain't mad with the world.
This is sad. This is sad. This is so sad. This is sad. This is terrible. Okay. This is something that we as individuals need to be cognizant of. There's nothing wrong with having faith. There's nothing wrong with being spiritual, believing in your faith, whatever denomination or however you believe there's a higher power other than yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But the thing that I do not understand is blind faith. And blind faith is something that we all should understand. Like we should not be doing that, because blind faith gets you into some issues and some problems. And when you're that faithful to someone and you're not looking out for your own well-being, you're the one that's going to be holding the end of the stick, and that pastor's not going to come see you in that hospital. That pastor, because he's going to be too busy pandering to those that are in his congregation. And this is sad. This is sad. And if you realize the countries that's been hit the hardest, right? Because people have faith, it's not going to touch me. And it doesn't even have to be religion. It's not going to touch me. It's nothing that's going to touch me, right? I'm immune to this, or because I'm a little bit darker, it's not going to hit me more. Or I don't have this, I don't have that. Yes, you have a higher resistance, but that doesn't mean you're immune to it. We have to take precautions. We have to do what we have to do to protect ourselves and to protect our loved ones. Cruz says, if it's your time, don't mean you have to steal a watch. Yeah, that's true. You know what I'm saying? And if a lot of y'all didn't probably get what Cruz said is, if it's your time, that means you don't have to steal a watch. That means is you don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush your time. You don't have to take unnecessary risks. So I say to everyone here, please go out as less as possible. You know what I mean? Try to mitigate your interactions with people. Try to protect yourself as much as possible. You know, thank God for technology because we can reach out and talk to each other and get ourselves through this time and struggle. But by no means do not let anyone take advantage of your mental state to get you in a position where you will put your life at risk for a little bit, you know, of relief. You know, this is times where you need to be happy with yourself. You got to be able to be in your own skin and in your own head. I'm going to share this next video of these people that held these people accountable. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this together. Okay. All right. So I'm going to play this. And luckily, someone is holding these people accountable. Luckily, someone is holding these people accountable.
Tony, come tell us why you choose to put these people's lives at risk. Tony, come on out.
Look at this right here. I thought we were keeping people 6 feet away from each other. I thought we were keeping people 6 feet away from each other. I thought we wasn't holding hands and hugging. I thought all of this in place. Why are we having night service, right? Why are we having night service? It's cool in the evening. Maybe, you know, sunlight, UV rays does do some things. For everyone that's just joined us, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. I'll greet you individually. Once I finish, I get a little break here. And finish with my my opening salvo, and then we'll open up the panel for people that would like to come in on the channel.
We have a mandate from the Word of God to not forsake the assembling of ourselves together. We have a mandate from God to praise God in His sanctuary. This is the sanctuary. We are together in one place, in one mind, and in one accord. None of our members are forced to come here. The church is the hospital for the soul and the spirit of man. Baton Rouge General, Our Lady of the Lake is for the body of man. People get.
Now listen to what he just said. Listen to this. Look at all these people assembling. Look at all of this. Look at this. This is the spread of disease. This is how Italy and Spain just blew up, because they are deeply religious. I've been to Italy multiple times, stayed there for months, been to Spain, and people will go out and be out all night but they will go to mass. And then they have a lot of touching in Italy and Spain. They do the kissings on the cheek when they greet each other. They're very touchy-feely, especially after church. They're very social distancing is not a thing with them, and that's why you get the numbers that you get with them and the explosion of those numbers, because people are going there. And you have to understand who you're dealing with. Think about it. The Roman Catholic Church is in Rome, the Vatican. It's its own city-state. It's its own country, and it's within. And it's only about, I think about it's like 12 by 12 blocks down from the Roman Colosseum. You got to think about the Spanish Inquisition, the conquistadors, bringing Christianity to Western civilization or the Western Hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? Torturing people and converting them to Christianity. You got to think about the Romans, where that comes from. You have to understand the basis of religion is in the very fabric. If you look at your coins, it says, "In God we trust," the Judeo Christian thought process. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand the brainwashing that comes into play with religion, not spirituality. Let me get this. Let me explain it to you. And the spreading of this pandemic is because of this. People are not taking this seriously enough. I'm gonna continue to play this.
The church is the hospital for the soul and the spirit of man. Baton Rouge General, Our Lady of the Lake is for the body of man. People get sick, they go there. Do not shut the doors to the hospital. We're a needy people. Our souls are lost. We need help. And the church is the salvation center for the soul.
Now, mind you, this church, what he just told you is that this church, he pointed. That means he is within eyeshot of the hospital. So people are coming in here and they're going to the hospital. If they wanted to stop this, they would show up and they would put a barricade against this church. Because these people, if they get infected, they'll spread it to people that's not even going to the church. You heard earlier that the man was like, you need to shut this church down. Even there was a black man there said, you need to answer these questions of why you still have this church open. Now, I don't know what his role in that play, but he is right. He is correct.
We are not posing any more threat of COVID-19 than people who are at Walmart by the hundreds right now. So we want to...
So we're not posing any more threat of the people that are at Walmart by the hundreds right now. Well, yes, you are. Yes, you are posing a threat. Because those people that are going into Walmart they have to go in, and there's only so many people can go in at a time. They have to be 6 feet distance from each other. Everything's wrapped up. You got to get what you get, and you got to get out. They're getting their stuff. They're getting out. You got to have a mask on. And then there's sanitizing stations everywhere, and people are getting in and getting out. You have people sitting in pews next to each other. The way you're speaking, they're probably jumping up and down and praising the Lord, shouting and screaming and hollering and foaming at the mouth and passing out and all types of things. And it's a late night service.
We want a fair balance. Do not close the church's doors as long as one retailer in this city is open.
Listen to what he just said. We want a fair balance. Do not close the church's doors as long as there's one retailer in the city open. Let me get this straight. Churches don't pay taxes. So then this is a money issue, right? This is a money issue. So the longer your church stays closed, the less money that you make from the parishioners. So you got to keep them doors open. Meanwhile, Texas is quarantining anyone from New Orleans and LA in general. Yes, Yes, if you're from New Orleans or you're from LA, they're not letting you in. And I see why, because it's stuff like this. Now, that's not everybody in New Orleans. This guy, he represents a few. Even New York, they're trying to keep people out of certain places on the East Coast if you come from New York. I'm going to let this play out here. Okay. So I want to know what you guys think about that. I'm about to open up this panel pretty soon to let everybody know. I'm about to open up this panel pretty soon. We've been hitting this for like 57 minutes. I'd like to thank everybody that stopped by. This was just some article this is something that I saw. I think Shar Shar shared it with me, and I said, I got to definitely talk about this. I had a whole different thing that I was going with, a whole different topic of shows, what I had on here for the show that I wanted to talk about. But this one right here, it just stuck out, and I had to stick on this topic. I'm going to be opening up the panel shortly to people that would like to get on the panel. If you have the link already, please let me know. If you have the link already, please, if you want to come up and say a few words. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this panel up, give people some time to get up here. I'm going to drop the link in appropriate places. I will not be dropping the link in the main chat itself. I did that before. I made an exception for that one time. But go ahead and just drop your email address in the chat if my mods are around. Once someone drops the email address, I'll send it directly to your email address from my email address. If you like to come up and we'll delete that out of there. Delete your email address out of there. Also, please just join the Discord, one of the Discord servers, and we will. We like to put it in there. We like to secure the link. I'm very cognizant of who comes on my panels. I do not negotiate with terrorists of any kind. So what I'm going to do here is get this link out to the people that would like it, and I'm going to play a little bit of this elevator music some more for everybody. I'm gonna play this elevator music some more for everybody, and here, and then we'll get this rolling. I'll let the song loop twice, and then that'll give people time to come in, and we'll say a few words if y'all would like to come up here and have a few words and start speaking and things of that nature. Okay.
Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. A castle in the sky. We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. A castle in the we can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. Castle in the sky.
All right, all right, all right. We are back. We are back. Okay, I put the link in the appropriate places. This is open panel time. If anybody would like to step up here, say a few words, say whatever they need to talk about. Excuse me. Say a few words and say what they need to talk about. Sorry about that. Allergies are kicking up a little bit. It is still springtime. And Japan has a lot of trees. So if anybody would like to say a few words or anything of that nature, please, by all means, please. This is your time. From right now, I will give a few of the words that I would like to talk about and things of that nature. And please do not get this misconstrued. I do not harp on anybody's faith or beliefs, but we do have to be sensible about this in this time, in this trying time. This virus is very serious, serious to the point where you will be surprised at how people are dying. We had a in the Ebony Star Network assistant named Neek. She was talking about how they have people in freezer trucks because they can't get to the bodies quick enough in the morgue because they're running out of space. The numbers that they're reporting are not the real numbers. Those numbers are totally ballooned up. It's totally ballooned up. Hey, brother. I love that avatar. Are you Haitian? For one, are you Haitian? And I'm a new sub, but I am familiar with your content. Just DeAndre, I heard you speak with a few pens. You have great insight and supporter of the Great Virginia. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I see that avatar that you got there, Sapase. So with that, but everything's, every civilization, every country, every nation is rooted into some type of spirituality or quote unquote religion. And then when we get too much into the spirituality, out of the spirituality and into the religion, or we're too much of whatever, we put ourselves in a bad position. I love balance. The universe will balance itself. And if you are not balanced, you will teeter over and you will be tried. And if you're not ready, you will be taken out. We're not going to be here forever. We do have a short amount of time, and that's what makes it great of us being human. Please do not take your time for granted on this earth. Or anything of that nature. Please do not take your time for granted on this earth. Please do not take your time for granted on this earth. And please understand that we as individuals, we can touch a lot of people. Please get out there. Talk to your loved ones, even loved ones that you haven't talked to in a long time, even loved ones that you don't see eye to eye with. Maybe if you have a conversation, and that doesn't mean you can reconcile right then and there, and it may take some work. And sometimes you may feel as if, you both may go about your differences, but you have to move on because it's hard to talk to someone when they're not here anymore. Maybe you may talk to that loved one. Maybe you may be the one that can help them, keep them out of a situation, or where they'll put their faith in complete strangers. You may have some friends that you've been thinking about talking to. Check up on them, see how they're doing. Everybody is strained in this mental state, in this state of heightened awareness. Now, for me, I'm an only child. So I'm good a little bit of the time, but I have people in my airspace. You know, I have most of the people in this chat I have spoken to, I speak to almost on a regular to a certain degree. You know, the of African Lodge of the Black Masons. Okay, yeah, because I saw that. I saw that. I was like, because I was looking at it and it looked like it wasn't fully like I could see the full thing, right? The African Lodge of the Black Masons. Well, here's the crazy part, like, and just to bring that up, right? Just to bring that up, and this brother knows his history and stuff like that. The problem is like everybody says Black Mason this, but the Masons were Black people, period. End of story. Like there was just the Masons, and then there were everybody else that was outside of that the Masons taught. You know what I mean? Especially during the Moors, run, or pretty much their rule of what we would call Spain, and pretty much France and everything else. So just to put it out there, so instead of, you know, the Lodge of Black Masons, the Lodge of the Masons, right? You know, like it, and little things like that, right? That you're taught differently and stuff like that because you are a Mason, right? Like when you go to your lodges and stuff like that, when you have the Masonic rings, it doesn't say Black Mason, it just has the Mason logo on it. But getting back to what I was saying, but brother, I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. The other thing that I would like to say, in closing, and then I'll just go here because I know people are busy. It's midday, so I'll just bring it in and bring it out. Make this stream quick, fast, and easy, right? You know, we don't need to be doing marathon streams up here and doing that. If the conversation wills itself, we'll do it. I'm starting to like these midday streams for you guys, so I can just talk and rant and stuff like that a little bit. And if people want to get up and talk, they can get up and talk. But what I would say is for every last one of us, let's balance ourselves. Let's educate ourselves. Let's have faith in our fellow man, faith in ourselves, faith that if you do whatever you need to do, it will not totally keep you out of something, but it will get you through the times that you need to get through them. Get your information, get your education, get around people that are sensible, that you can speak and talk with. Nothing in what that man was saying with all those people gathered did he tell them certain things that they needed to know. Sanitize yourself, sanitize your hands, get your cleanliness, get everything. Oh, hold on. Let me introduce the esteemed Supreme Elder. How are you doing there?
I'm doing great, my man. What's going on with you this morning there, Warrior? A little hoarse this morning, but you know how it is. Everything's all right with me. Every day above ground is a good one.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Would you like that? Have a couple of words would you like of encouragement to share with our young people out here, such as myself?
Well, I can tell you right now, just from looking at your video just a little while ago, there's a lot of people out here that really don't take this coronavirus seriously. And yeah, folks, DeAndre is absolutely right. They are padding the numbers. But if you really look at even the smallest of the numbers, it's really affecting the black and African American community a lot worse than we think it has. If you think about the city of New York and the state of New York, if you're real about yourself, you will think black people. If you think about Cincinnati, you will think black people. So if you listen to the news, they were reporting that these people were dying at alarming rates, 306 on one day, 714 another day, but they're still not telling you the background of these people. You know?
Yeah.
So we as black folks, you know, when it comes to diseases, a lot of times they experiment on us first. So that's one thing we all need to be cognizant of. You look up in the sky and you see a bunch of airplanes flying around. I would suggest you go back in the house.
Well, I would like. I think today. Well, it was. I think it was morning for me. Evening for you guys. You had your radio show with the esteemed sister Just Axe Char,
Hmm.
and um, you were playing the clip from the doctor that's a part of, I guess, the union that's on the continent of Africa with the countries, and they were basically stating that why would you want to test things on us, um you know, and we don't have as many cases as you would have in France, right? Like, if you think about it, people don't realize how big the continent of Africa is.
It
It
is
can't,
huge.
it's huge, right? You can actually take China and put it in the continent of Africa.
Yes, yes, and if folks, if you look at the world maps or you look at the globe, Africa is made to seem small against all the other countries on purpose.
Yes.
But Africa is huge. There's more grassland. They always think about to take a note from Tariq Nasheed. They always like to report Africa. You know, they like to show the underbelly of Africa, the babies with the big stomachs and the flies and all that different stuff like that. But they never show you the good part of Africa. Those are things that we need to find out for ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm gonna say this, like, we as a people, we have to, do some research, and we have to basically stop having the faith in everything that we see, right? We have to challenge things, because I remember, because I was going to do a stream about it. Well, this stream was actually going to be about the news article, and since we're sitting here, it's what is it? The French doctors, right?
Hmm. Yes.
And that actually stemmed from the French doctors of them. They were saying to actually test it on black people or Africans.
That's exactly what he said on TV, on French's nationwide television. He suggested that the coronavirus vaccines, anyone that they should try, should be tried in Africa first. He most certainly did, and
Yeah,
no one was in shock and awe about that, because that's something that's usual for people to hear. No one was in shock about that. No
yeah.
one.
No one was shocked. No one thought it. And why this is going on, if you don't mind, brother music, I'm going to actually pull that up. It's actually the links to everything that I wanted to talk about on this show, um, and the video of what I showed earlier with the religion clips. They are all in the description area. So if you want to go and click on those and read those, for whatever um, reasons you may, you can do that. Because I like to keep things a lot transparent, um, especially with this new with YouTube and copyrights and all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
So you gotta basically give your what is it? You gotta show your sources, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a book
Yeah.
report,
Yeah.
right? You gotta show your
Yeah.
sources. And if you went and took the time to go look it up, I'm like, it's nothing but copy and paste on a notepad on your computer. So you can
Absolutely.
take it there. So,
It's you're absolutely right, Dre. It's just that easy to pass on information like that from one sister or one brother to the other. It's just a matter of copying, pasting, and clicking. You can always, if you don't want to put it on your main page, for those of you that have Facebook or YouTube, you can always drop it in their messenger. It's just that
yeah,
easy. It's just that
exactly.
easy.
So I'm
So,
gonna I'm gonna just go through this real quick. Two top French doctors said on live TV that the coronavirus vaccine should be tested on poor Africans, leaving viewers horrified. Right now, they are showing that. If I'm scrolling down here, you see a Nelson Mandela's T-shirt. You see this man with a mask on, and you see him with gloves on, and he's walking. Right, right.
mhm.
Man doing nationwide coronavirus lockdown near Durban, South Africa. Right now, this is during Durban, South Africa. Now he's now now they're showing this, but when we were just looking at that church, ain't nobody have any gloves.
Nobody.
And
Nobody.
actually, this man has the best mask possible.
Mm-hmm.
This is an N95 mask. This mask is probably the best mask that he could probably have. He got the gloves. Now he's got like short sleeve shirt on. But
still, he's a lot more protected than those folks that you showed in that church clip.
And between him and this person over there, that's more than 6 feet.
Yep,
That's more than
sure
6
is. It sure is 6 feet. So as you see in Africa itself, just on in the clip that you're showing there, Dre, it shows that even though there's not a whole lot of cases in Africa, they're still being mindful of the fact that they can pass it on to somebody, or they do. People have asymptomatic to the disease itself, to the virus itself. So it's best to be dressed like the man is. Yeah, sure, he has on a short sleeve shirt there, but still, at least he's a little bit more protected than those folks that you saw in church.
Oh yeah, with the suits on and stuff. Now,
exactly.
This is very telling, right? And this is why I'm telling people that this coronavirus is like SARS, HIV, and the Ebola.
All
right?
wrapped up into one.
All wrapped up into one, right? And it says 2 highly respected French doctors discussed on live television how a new COVID-19 vaccine under development should be first tested in Africa, where there are no masks, no treatment, no intensive care. Well, wait a minute. This man has a mask on. That's the South Africa. That's Africa, right? The continent of Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got gloves on. Okay. One of them, Jean-Paul Mira, even compared Africans to prostitutes who were the focus of past AIDS studies. We
don't have prostitutes in the United States.
Or actually, the spreading of the virus actually in France came from prostitutes.
Okay, say it again. Somebody buying something over there. It ain't toilet tissue.
Yeah, the spreading of the virus in France came from prostitutes. It exploded because of the prostitutes. Right? We tried things on prostitutes because they are highly exposed and do not protect themselves. He said, several African soccer players who played in Europe, including a former Chelsea star, Dylan Drogba, I think that's how you say his name. And I know this guy. He was the only brother walking around with his hair with the whole perm, like straight Jerry Curl looking thing. Right. And former Barcelona striker Samuel Eto'o tweeted their outrage at the 2 medics' remarks. Discussion between the 2 top French doctors on live TV left viewers horrified when they proposed that Africa should become a giant laboratory for the coronavirus vaccine testing because the continent lacked the resources to defend against the coronavirus 19. No, the continent lacked the resources to defend against the European incursion. Now, I think this is this video that they're showing. This is London. This is London, like right now. This is how London looks right now. That's London.
Empty.
In the middle of the day.
Ghost town.
Now, if these people would stay in their butt in the damn house mostly, right? Because their prime minister, he was in intensive care. Boris Johnson. Now, right now, my wife is in London, and she can't go really nowhere. And yeah, right. So this is what she say. This is how it looks. Look at these streets. All of these streets are filled with people usually, and everything's at standstill.
And it sure does. Usually, London kind of at this time of the afternoon looks like rush hour in New York.
Yeah, yep. Major cities are shutting down, but they want to go test it in Africa. You know, because what is the old thing? Black people are the canary in the coal mine.
Yep, exactly.
They,
They don't make, if they don't make it through this one, we know it didn't work. Let's try another one.
let's try another one. Let's try another one. Right? It's like, let's try another one. And we're looking at this. Hold on, what's that? Char and conversations with Char. Yeah, it's a ghost town outside. Yes, Char. It's a ghost town. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? People are going to the grocery store. People are going there home and they're staying in their houses. You know, I saw a news article, DJ Music, where this actress, she was married, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's married, and what happened was she got married to her husband. Um, she got married to her husband, and I think if I have it here, I'm not sure if I have it. Um, but this actress that got married to her husband, they weren't together. Like they were married, but they had separate houses. Right? He was an equestrian guy, and she was an actress.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived separate. And she was like, "Yeah, you know, I need my space. He need his couch, his space, and all this other stuff." And you could tell that she came up, and she decided that. Um, you know what I'm saying? She decided that, right? So with that being said, is that she decided that they got to be together because of this quarantine thing, right? And then she found out that she really likes being with her husband.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the coronavirus itself is doing one or two things. Well, actually, it's doing one thing. And really, if you're married or if you're living with someone, it really tests your resolve to what kind of relationship that you have. If it's a good relationship, you guys will weather the storm pretty well. If it's one of those bad relationships where you see each other 24 hours a day and you can't wait to get out to go to work and you can't go to work now, folks, you're going to have some problems. Two broke folks don't do nothing but argue. And that's what it's going to boil down to here in a couple of weeks. How much money you got left?
Yeah. How much money or resources do you have, right? Because
absolutely.
Because you can have all the money in the bank, but you got to have the resources.
That's
right?
exactly it.
Right? Because resources can't do really anything for you unless you have those resources. And it is very sad that this is actually happening. Since we're here, I wanted to touch on this. You heard about the Navy captain, how he was pleading for months on end about getting his sailors off the ship, getting some help. Now that ship is currently in Guam right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Theodore Roosevelt is actually in Guam right now. And they have 2,000 cases, 2,700 cases of the coronavirus on that ship.
That's almost half the crew.
Yep. Almost half the crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Most half the crew, right? And he was pleading for some type of anything, and nothing. Absolutely, totally nothing, right? They weren't trying to help this man or anything like that. Or if I can find this, I think they took it down on Yahoo.
Well, DeAndre, remember just a couple of days ago, I think you and I and Cerulean and a few others, we were all back on Discord talking about this very same thing that you're speaking of now. And it's funny, we had asked, I wonder what the military is doing. And I think what they're trying to do is they don't want to show that the military has some kind of weakness right now, which I understand. You don't want another country to know that your military is, is unable or unequipped to, because of this virus, to defend our shores, which I can understand, the United States not putting out that type of information. But also, this captain understood he valued he valued the folks on that ship. He valued their lives so much so that he had to, as they say, he had to become a dime dropper. He had to become a, I guess in our terms, a snitch in order to get some help for these people. So imagine if that's just going on one aircraft carrier. Imagine what's going on the other boats and submarines and different things like that, where they just don't have that room to move around.
Well, yeah. Like I'll basically like the one over here. They were saying it was 3, and then I got word because I talked to someone that happened to be in intelligence, and they told me it's actually like 250
Mhm.
on the carrier, and they're about to
Right.
go on deployment. They're trying to rush their deployment, but that's good. You know, they're trying to rush their deployment, but if you rush their deployment, the incubation period is 14 days. So even if you take them out to sea, they're thinking about if you take them out to sea, then you can kind of, but the whole boat's just going to go up in flames. Everybody's going to get it.
Everybody gonna get sick, right?
Everybody's going to get it, right? So here's this is just because I was looking for that and they took it down because the Secretary of the Navy basically went on the ship and cussed everybody out, said you shouldn't be, uh, you know, cheering him on and all of that stuff. And then he had to apologize, right? Because a senator told him he had to do it, and then he resigned.
He resigned. Yep,
Right?
because he wasn't ready to face the heat. And see, that's the thing about this Trump regime. I won't call it a Trump presidency. I'll have to call this a Trump regime. And basically, what everyone that's involved with Trump is doing, just like the man that wrote the book, everything Trump touches turns to, excuse my language, turns to shit.
Yeah.
There's no real people that could deal with this virus. The folks that Obama put in place to deal with this virus, Trump disbanded it.
Yeah.
Why? Who knows? And maybe he was just so fixated on Obama's presidency that he had to go back and undo everything that Obama did. So that's the only way that you can look at this right now. So it's a bitter pill to swallow, especially for us in the African American community. Now that we know who the coronavirus really affects the most, so it's just basically, folks, just stay home right now.
Yeah,
just stay home
as much as possible. When I go to the office, I'm fortunate that I work within. Like I would just jump on the bus. It's like 10 minutes. I'm on the bus and off, right? A couple of games of solitaire, a couple of songs in the headphones, like maybe 3 songs, and I'm at work, right? But when I have to go into the office, I don't get on the bus. It's like right there. It's like about a 2-minute walk from my house, like right at the door. I just walk to work. I have less of an issue dealing with folk, coughing and breathing and stuff. And the reason why I bring this up is look at the transit work, right? Now New York has a ridiculous amount of cases. People have passed, died. It's just terrible, right? So here it go. 41 transit workers dead. Crisis take a staggering toll on subways. Right? That's the only way to get around New York, really, is the subways. Yeah, it's the only way to get around. And I'll do the update. What I'll do is let me drop this to the chat. New York, at least 41 transit workers have died, and more than 6,000 more have fallen sick or self-quarantine. Crew shortages have caused over 800 subway delays and forced 40% of the train trips to be canceled in a single day. The average wait for some trains, usually 4 minutes, have ballooned to 40 minutes.
Wow.
This is crazy.
And
remember, we talk about Grand Central Station, where you got trains coming from Jersey, you got trains coming from Vermont, you got trains coming from everywhere. And this is your goods and services. Everything that moves in and out of New York, goods, services, bonds, everything is moved by the train system.
Absolutely. And you have to look at the United States as a whole. How many landlocked states do we have to where if the truck drivers and the transit folks and all those people, where are we going to get our supplies from if the truck drivers are shut down, or the train conductors are shut down, or the airline pilots they're shut down? Sooner or later, folks, we're going to have to realize that this is definitely real, and it's not only it's going to affect us now, it's going to affect us in 3 to 4 months from now as well. Because after a pandemic like this, there's no way you can go back to a semblance of normalcy in 2 weeks. absolutely impossible.
Yeah, yeah. You're not going to be able to do it. And people are going to really look at each other differently. And it's right now is the time where people going to get to know their neighbors really well.
Yep, exactly.
Um,
Going to get to know your neighbors and going to get to know your relationship. You learn about your children. You definitely learn about your spouse. How much can you put up with? Like I said, if you do have a great relationship with your spouse, if you like being around each other, this is probably going to be a good time for you. But if you're one of those folks that your relationship is, how you say, on the skits,
yeah,
find another room. Right, find another room in the house. That's all I can tell you.
Exactly. And before I finish with these news articles and stuff like that, I would like to do this little segment of DJ Music, and I call this segment "Who Mans Is This?"
Okay.
Right? Because all the good ones have been taken, Donkey of the Day, stuff like this or whatever.
Yeah.
You played yourself and all this, but I like to say "Who mans is this?" because sometimes you like to ask yourself, like, what's going on with you, right? And let me drop that link to the other article in the chat. Let me drop this. This is that New York Transit. Now, this is fresh out the press, y'all. So I just checked it. This is out the news. You can go check it right now. Sometimes these links, if you check them and they're too hot, they'll take them down. News articles. You have to get on them quick. Yeah. So who mans is this? Okay. So basically, a man hid coronavirus symptoms to join his wife in New York's hospital maternity ward, and she ended up infected also.
Wow.
A man suspected of infecting his pregnant wife with the novel coronavirus after hiding his symptoms to join her in New York hospital maternity ward, U.S. Today reports. He revealed his condition only after his wife gave birth and also began to display symptoms. The incident prompted the hospital, Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York, to impose stricter screening measures on all the already viewed visitors allowed in the maternity ward. A man hid his coronavirus symptoms. Now, you guys can check this. Like I said, I put all the links to everything in the description below. In the description below for this video. See, this segment is really about being stupid. Now, you can say this whole stream, especially with the church thing, it's pretty much the Who Mans in Them segment, but this right here is this man hid his symptoms to be with his wife while she gave birth. A woman is her most vulnerable after giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
And actually being pregnant because her immune system is down. Like her immune system is blocking the baby and hers, right? And it's usually for the baby. The baby's stuck in all so much energy. And that's why a lot of women, other than modern technology, a lot of women used to bleed out and die after childbirth.
Yes, indeed they do.
Right? And you're going to take your rocket head behind over there and everything. And you pretty much got your wife infected with this virus, and I hope she doesn't have any pre-existing condition. And what would this man what would that conversation be like? I'm not understanding. I'm not really getting that. Like,
my question is, how was he able to hide those symptoms? That's a question for me to think about. And you think about this, once he got inside inside the hospital and he goes to where his wife is having the baby at, he generally infected everybody, even those newborns that didn't belong to him.
Yeah.
Is that your man?
Yeah, that's your man. Who mans is this? Like, who mans is this? Like, Like, who mans is this? Like, so if you I'm really, but then you think about it, right? I guess he had faith, right? He went to church, he talked to the pastor, gave him, gave him some building fund money, right?
Yeah.
And the pastor said, believe in touching God and be with your wife and kids. If you have faith, you won't get it.
Let me speak on that for a minute. As I've said before, and I'll always say this, there's nothing wrong with being having some type of religion or having some type of faith. And unfortunately for us black folks, they will mind sweep us. They will, they will tell us all kind of things and use that prop as religion to make it correct. And just in your clip alone, you heard the one old elder black gentleman say that, well, when it's your time, it's your time. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Okay, I'll stay away from that. That may make sure it's not my time. I'm not going to run into a burning building. That's asinine. That's asinine. And these folks, this, excuse me, this other preacher, because he spat in the air, he says the coronavirus is now cured. Or these folks on Fox News that said that the coronavirus was a hoax and all this other stuff. You're going to think about this now. For the last 2.5, 3 months, this is why we have so many of these cases now, because there's so many people putting up bad information. And you got stupid folks like this going into a hospital even knowing that he's sick. Even if you had the common cold, why would you even want to go near your wife that's having a child, even if you had a common cold?
Yeah. Why would you? Well, and this is I would say like this, right? And this is when I break this out. This is when I break this out, right? I think, right? I think because of the in this era of the participation trophy, the PC culture.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need the environment to, quote unquote, what the esteemed brother Cerulean said, call the 1/3. Basically, take them out. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes being human beings, we overlook that some people just need to walk out in the forest and get taken out.
Yeah.
They're detriment to society.
Yep. Let the bear get them. You're absolutely right. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah. Like they had these spring breakers in Texas that came back. All of them came back infected. Right? They went.
Did you see all those fools on the beach?
Yeah. Yeah. All on the beach. Yep. All on the beach. Like saw, like the brother that held the mayor accountable. People are running around holding people accountable, right? You're hearing reports of people banding together, telling people stay their butt in the house. You're hearing a lot of things, but here's the problem. Right? Here's the biggest issue with this is that a lot of people don't believe it's real, or a lot of people are too quote unquote fearful, right? You get people that are hypochondriacing over everything, right? And then you're getting people that are doing other things, right? Saying people that are doing other things, and they're just going overboard with it, right? They're just doing too much. You're getting people that think it's a joke and it's a game, right? And you're thinking people that they're going into their fear and stuff like that, and they don't know. They don't know what's going on, and then they're just grabbing on anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell my wife, I said, hey, you need to calm down off the news cycles. You're looking every day, you're looking at the thing, you're looking at the numbers, you're looking. And I said, when I told you the stuff was serious before it got serious, right? You didn't really believe it because it wasn't there. But now it's there, you like, whoa, right? Because you're like, oh, whoa, right? And I guess and I think you get this a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just your experience of dealing with life, but it's that military training.
Mm-hmm.
if you prepare for the worst, right, you can always do your best, right?
Exactly.
If you're always in that mindset. Now, sometimes I do get tired of being in that mindset. So, like, because you're always on edge, you don't get to relax like regular folks. But
Well, I think, Dre, that's something that you really have to do. You have to put yourself in the defensive mindset right about now. You have to look at everyone as a potential person. You might not see them with the weapon, the gun, or the knife or whatever, but you have to look at each potential person as someone that could harm you right now. And that's just where we're at with this coronavirus. It is what it is. Nobody's your friend right now, except for those people that live in your house that you know haven't been anywhere. Just the other day, my niece came over to the house and stay right there. Wash your hands, do whatever you got to do. But whatever you need to tell me right now, it's not that I don't love you, but I'm older than you. I might not get over this as quick as you will.
yeah,
So
takes out about what? Even after you get out of it, right? If you really catch it really bad, it takes down to 80% of your lung capacity, and then if you get over it, it takes you down by 20 to 30%.
absolutely. And see
Like,
what?
so once you get it, you got it. It's like it's this weird. It's this weird thing. What was it? Vonda said, "Hell, what about the evil people who are purposely sneezing all over the place and licking everything so they can spread this horrible virus?" And those people, see, I don't mean no harm. Ass whipping should be in effect, right? And what I mean by ass whippers, I mean there should be some older folk that's like 60 years age, and they just go in their purse and they pull out a belt. Right?
You see what they doing in other countries? They got them long bamboo poles, and if they catch too many people in one area, they just go in there and start swinging.
Yeah, they start swinging, right? You know what I'm saying? You can't sit down in your houses. You know what I really thought is like when you get older and somebody hits you in your butt with something, it's not that it hurt, it's the embarrassment of you should have known better. And it was right.
Exactly.
They, like that's why I said these people nowadays, and when I mean people nowadays, we take civil liberties for granted, right? We think just because you have the right to do something automatically makes you, what I mean, it gives you the right to do whatever you want but right now this is not the time. Like, I would like to go outside. I'm like, man, it's like I missed the whole cherry blossom season. It's cherry blossom season over here.
It sure is in Japan. It sure is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cherry blossom season, and I done missed the whole season. I see the cherry blossoms, but there's a park up here where it's just nothing but cherry blossoms. Beautiful, just walk through the park, but you can't do it. You can still walk through the park if you want to, but you can't do it because what I look like walking around there. It's a whole virus outside. And you've been in Japan, and this is how serious it is. The pachinko parlors are closed. That's serious. Japanese, boy, it'd be a whole earthquake going on. Radiation. They gonna be gambling. They gonna be in there.
That's it.
That's it. They're closed. McDonald's was closed. Starbucks was closed. The only thing that was open, you know how they can have those malls and stuff by the train station, those big department stores. The whole thing was closed, and the only thing that was open was the grocery store because it was downstairs. That was the only thing that was open. Like it looked like people are milling about trying to handle whatever they got to handle, but everything's closed. Like, and it's like, then when I went to the office to go handle something, for some stuff like that, I'm looking at them and they looking at me and I'm looking at them like, and they said, well, hey, can you come? Nope.
Nope.
Don't even ask. I don't even look. You're lucky I'm here right now.
Right.
You're lucky I'm here right now. And once I finish doing what I got to do, I'm out.
I'm out. They say that they say give them 6 feet. No, I'm like Tupac. Give me 50 feet. Back up. Move it back some.
Yeah. Like it's one of those it's one of those things. Um, it's one of those things that we have to hold each other accountable to a certain degree, but we can't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
Um, but it's going to straighten a lot of people out. I call this a reset. I call this a hard reset. Like,
And actually, it is what it is, John DeAndre. It is a reset. It really is. Because
yeah,
if you think about all the past pandemics, things like that, we as a whole, as the world itself, I think we should be glad that we're a little bit more technologically advanced than than we were maybe 40 or 50 or even 70 years ago. Because just think about this: if we didn't have this internet here, just think how slow information would have been disseminated amongst the rest of the world.
yeah,
If
yeah,
we didn't have these devices like this, if we didn't have these, of course, there's this good side and the bad side to the internet. You always got those people out there that's going to put out bad information, but you just got to dig through the trash and hopefully you put out the right thing. But it's no joke out there, folks. It really isn't. Staying home right now, just like I think my man might have said this on the Breakfast Club. Back then they was asking folks to come out, go out to war to fight the enemy that we could see. Nowadays they're just asking the people, just sit on your couch and let's fight the war at home. And people finding that hard to do. Stay at home.
yeah. Because you're telling them to do like when you told people, hey, you need to get out, you need to run around, you need to be active. The obesity rate in the United States in the United States is ridiculous, right?
Right. It
Um,
is.
People are not interacting with each other. You got to get off of the internet. You got to do this, do that, do that. What did people do? The opposite. They ate
Just the
more.
opposite.
Right now, you tell them, well, don't eat no more. Well, stay in the house, eat up, get on the internet. What they want to do? Go outside, eat less, like walk around, do stuff, right? And it's like you can see something of them getting tricked, right, into doing what they want to do because they know that people are going to fight against it. Because in Western society, we're taught to question everything, right?
Everything. I
Everything.
have my rights. I have the Second Right, my Second Amendment. I have the First Amendment. All those rights are great, but if you're dead, how you gonna use them?
Yeah, yeah. How you going to use them?
How you gonna use them?
And the people that are listening, that are doing it, they're doing it for the greater good. Um, and you're going to see this. Like I said, it's a reset because they have to go back um, to the nucleus of everything, right? Because this automation thing is killing things. Automation is killing.
Yep.
It's killing the job market, right? And the people, like, really, what this thing is, you might as well call this COVID-19, aka the boomer killer.
Yeah.
It's the boomer killer.
It pretty much is.
It's the boomer killer. It's like if it wasn't intentional, it's the greatest like coincidental thing that ever happened, and they jumping on top of it. They rocked them to sleep with this. No, you're going to be fine. We're the world's greatest. Like, and this, that, and the other. I saw someone put this up, right? They said if you're 40 years old, you have grown up in probably one of the worst stretches in time, right? Talking about, you had the wars like the Gulf War and stuff like that, the war on terrorism, 9/11, you had SARS.
Yeah.
you had,
That's a good point, Dre. A lot of people that were born like in the 80s, if you were born anytime in the 80s, this country has been at war since what? Since 1991. So
yeah,
throughout the majority of your adult life, people have been fighting something, either been fighting the enemy that we can see. You're talking about the Gulf War, you're talking about all these other different campaigns that we've been in. Now, these very same people are fighting an invisible enemy that they can't see. A lot of them just don't. I'm healthy. I'm strong. I'm good. I can handle this. No, you can't handle this, folks. Can't handle it.
yeah, You can.
It's gonna, if you're out there, if you put yourself at risk, it's just like I typed down in the chat room. This is like playing Russian roulette every time you go outside your house.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time you go outside, like it's like I like the people that I do notice one thing, right? That the people that are in the areas, the country areas, like the counties and further out there, the people that are in the South, right? They're not getting it as bad as the people in the North or in those congested cities, right?
Exactly.
And what
Absolutely
you
right again.
and what you're going to find is people are going to start spreading out again, right? After this, you're going to see a major uptake in people buying land and getting away from folks
Mm-hmm.
and getting in their own little communities and little pockets and stuff like that, right? And this thing is about to have a major implications. You're going to find women that want to be home more, raising their kids, be involved in their kids' education, not letting the system just run with it, right? You're going to see different job markets open up. You're going to see teleconferences uh, now happen more, telework. Like you don't have to be in the office. You can come to the office 3 times a week. That's it. Like
Right.
we'll still pay you, like, but stay
Yeah.
your butt.
Yeah.
Like,
Stay home. Stay
stay
home.
home. Stay home. You're gonna see infrastructure because if you really think about it, all these people dying, and if you're talking about over 50, a lot of these people that are dying, the majority of men that are over 50, they work in infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
right? Look at those transit workers. That's 41 jobs that just opened up. That's
Sad,
that's,
sad but true.
that's 40, and we know like if you really think about it, right? I remember when I was young, I remember the same bus driver that drove the number 2 line ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got in the military, I came out of boot camp, and I jumped and I got on the bus, and it was like I was running for it, and I was running for it, and he don't play, he don't play.
Yeah.
You were at that bus stop, he pulling off, right? And I was running, and I stopped. I'm like, oh, he gonna pull off, and he stopped, and he opened up the door, right? And when he stopped and he opened up the door, um, I jumped on the bus, and he said, "You that young man that used to walk with that nice looking lady,
Mm.
you know, and she always used to be dressed to the T. Come in here." And I remember she changed her life, and she started going to church a lot. Y'all used to go to church and used to have the suits on, and I ain't seen her in a while. I ain't seen you in a while. Like, how
Mm.
she doing? I said, well, unfortunately, she passed when I was 12. And this man stopped the bus and started crying.
Wow.
He started the bus. He said, "Well, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine." I mean, and I had my pea coat on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I had a pea coat on, and just some slacks and some boots on and some gloves. And he said, "Well, I'm in the Navy." And he kind of looked at me and looked at me. He said, "Get out of here!" And he looked at my pea coat. "Oh, that's a Navy pea coat."
That's a
Well,
Navy Peacoat.
he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, I was in Vietnam. I served on the ship, and then I came back, and then I settled down in this job." I was like, "Well," I was like, I didn't know." And he drove, and we talked and stuff like that. And I went uptown, and and uh, and I said, "Well, maybe I'll be seeing you around." And he said, "No, you won't be seeing me around. This is actually my last day.
Wow.
This is my last day." He's 30 some years driving this bus. What he told me, and it was just it was amazing just to see. But the man was elder; he was older, right? And a lot of these transit workers, they're older. You
Yes,
know,
they are.
they work until they're 60 or something like that. But that's knowledge, right? You got to know when the trains, what track, what this, what that, what tunnel, what goes here, right? Um, you gotta know all of that. And that's knowledge that's lost because you can set up whatever computer system that you want, but them tunnels in New York was built back in the 1400s. Either 14, 15, 1600s, 1700s, on top of each other, right? Um, And that's a lot of knowledge that's gone, and these industries are opening up,
Opening up
and they're
and
going to be
speak.
filled. They can't
uh,
be filled easily.
Right. And speaking of that knowledge, remember a lot of times they say, well, we have these computers, this AI, artificial intelligence. Well, during this pandemic, it just shows you how great good AI and these machineries are. If you don't have humans to fix them when they're broke down, what you got?
Yeah, what they got, what you got.
And they got
Um, yeah,
somebody
and
got to somebody got to run these machines. No matter what, how smart these machines are, they can pick this up, pick that up. Oh yeah, as soon as one of them breaks, where's that technician to make sure it's back up and running? Sick at home and sick right now.
exactly, exactly. Home and sick. You, but you know what? It's just to me. I see a lot of opportunities. Where people don't see it right now. That you, the older generation, is being kind of, and I'm sorry to say this, it's kind of being pushed out the door, right? Um, is, is it a coincidence that during Trump's presidency, the old like the overt racism came out? Like it was being suppressed for so long that they just, it was like a relief valve, right? Like
Hmm.
like after having Obama in office, it was like everybody's like, man, this is like we took 6 steps backwards. I said, no, we didn't. We actually moved forward because I'm more afraid of the covert racism than overt racism. Because at least you know where your enemy stands, right? Like you know exactly where they at. You know how to deal with them, and you know how to attack it if you actually have the courage to, right? Just like those French scientists, right? I mean, those French doctors, right?
Right.
They basically said what they've been doing for centuries on the continent of testing diseases and stuff on black folk. They said it
Absolutely.
so nonchalantly, like what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And it
have
wasn't
you?
that people were appalled. It was that, well, people were appalled, but all those urban legends, they just told you they were true. And then
Absolutely. It's solidified what a lot of black people have been saying all along. I don't want to go to the hospital because I might not come out. They might test me with something. I go in there for a simple blood test. Next thing you know, I got cancer. How?
how exactly? How Sway? Right? Like how Sway? Right?
Right. How did that happen? I went there to get some headache medicine or a strained ankle, and this is truth. When I was in the military, had a corporal. He had a hernia, strained. I guess it would do whatever he was doing. He strained himself, so his testicles swole up a little bit. So instead of them removing the one testicle that was infected or swollen, they removed the good one, left him with the bad one.
Wow.
What kind of sense did that make?
Man, and then you can't do anything because it's free healthcare, right? So you can't
What?
sue because
Right.
you're
You can't. You gotta ask permission to sue the United States of America. And if you're on active duty, you basically have to ask the government, "Can I sue you for damaging me?"
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And and then you got to wait till you get out. Okay, now the man's running around with 100% working medical disability, but who cares, right? Because every
Right. Who
time you go
cares?
down,
Right.
you'll get that check,
Right. That's it.
and right,
That's
and it's hard for you to get a job.
right.
It's
Another casualty. It's
yeah,
basically what you are.
yeah. You just running around, and then you gonna be on some type of medication, and then you having one testicle is actually is killing your testosterone output, right?
Pretty much it. So your chances of, if you didn't have kids or if you wanted to have kids, adoption is the rate that you're gonna have to go.
Yeah, but then your life expectancy is down as a man because you men need testosterone.
Absolutely.
And they just
Absolutely.
came out with the HRT, that hormone replacement therapy,
Yeah.
the testosterone shots and stuff like that. Is people and this and a lot of us, we don't. Black people, what they're telling you is the truth, and with this overt racism, they're coming out and saying it, right? And it's so blatant, right? Because the the worst racist is a liberal one,
Mm.
right? Because I would rather take a Klansman than a liberal racist. And a liberal racist, what a liberal racist is a person that takes your plight and pins that plight on every Tom, Dick, and Harry that that may have something a little bit similar, and it pulls it back. Right? You can't say nothing about the alphabet people. You can't
Right.
say nothing about the pointy hat folk. Right?
Right.
You can't say nothing about the feminists, which is pretty much the alphabet people 3.5 or 4.0 or 5.0. Right?
Right. Wherever they're at.
But we can say all the disparaging things about black folk. We can sit up here and do 8-hour live streams, tossing chairs, throwing people underneath the bus, throwing our own people underneath the bus. And unless we go or one of us go and take another person's platform, they don't care.
Right.
They don't care. They turn a blind eye to it, give no nothing, no nada, no nothing. They don't care, right? But the second that we cross over, oh, we got to straighten up, right? Right? We got to straighten up, and that's why we kind of got to be cognizant of how we speak and deal with each other on these panels, and what we're actually here for, right?
Right.
And I don't pass judgment on people's, and I do admit it is entertaining watching people do stupid stuff, right? It's just, it is entertaining, but at the same time, you spending your time, uh, your mental capacity, your creativity, um, to come up with this, and then you can do something totally else. And it's not for money for everybody. Uh, Maybe people are just bored and they just want something to do to divulge into something. But if you're on this platform and you're here to generate revenue, there's a certain way you need to conduct yourself.
Absolutely.
Even if you're
Right.
going to be messy, you have to present it in the best way possible, right? You're gonna if you going to present, be like you said, say that all you got your hand in that all shit bag. At least let
Right.
it be fertilizer, right?
Right. At least that's right. No doubt about that. I mean, you go way back in time. You always hear these folks saying, "Well, we're getting better with this race relation things. It's getting better with every 10 years or something. We get a little closer." Heaven forbid that the worst thing that I think that people got out of this racism thing, thinking it was better because we elected a semi-black president. If you look at it, Barack Obama he's biracial. He's not 100% black. So now all actualities, we have yet in this country to elect a black president. Obama was good. He gave us a foot in the door, but along with Obama came the real face of America. The everybody thought that racism was something that was done. It was just, we just tell you like this. It was just dormant. It was just waiting for the right time to spring back up. And here we are right now, folks, right back at it.
Exactly, and he really showed that. And I tell people, I say, man, we had a black president. He's not black. He's an African American.
Right.
He is an African American. The thing that they want you to be, that is what he is.
That's it.
He couldn't pop off. Like let him being able to do what Trump did, just a smidgen of that, and he would have got so much stuff accomplished.
He would have never made it through his first. If he would have started at the line to the American public the same way Trump did, he would have never made it through his first term.
No, he wouldn't have. I'm like, shoot, they was. I'm like, Trump was leading the charge and say he wasn't even a citizen, right? Like
Again, overt racism that no one questioned.
Nobody questioned it. They ran with it and went with it. They was talking about this man birth certificate for what? For him getting into office to when he left, right?
Now think about that, brother. Think about this. How many people had to be in on this lie that Trump was trying to go around and say that Barack Obama was? How many people had to go into this lie?
Oh, well.
His mother had to tell a lie. His father had to tell a lie. All his cousins, all his uncles, everybody that he know had to be part of this big cover-up to show that Barack Obama was not born in this country.
But you know who ran with it? You know who started it, right? Hillary Clinton.
Somebody that there it is right there. The same woman that said black children, young black adults should be brought to heel. But we
Yeah,
ran out. We ran out in droves trying to get her elected.
yeah,
The same wife of the president that brought this crime bill. Everybody's out there voting for Joe Biden. The same guy that helped put thousands of black Americans in jail during the 80s and the 90s. Thousands of them.
yeah.
Thousands. But we still run into them like, hey, the best thing since sliced bread. We had Camilla Harris and we had Cory Booker. No, they ain't good enough. Them. Excuse my language, folks. Them niggas don't know what they're talking about. Don't pay no attention to them. Don't pay no attention to them.
Exactly. And
Those
that's
both. Go ahead.
the liberal. That's what I said. The worst racist you can deal with is liberal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They do it behind closed doors and stuff like that. And then you got to realize this is just one thing about black folk and I'll say this is that we have to get off of this thing. And the brother Jay Sean said it. He brought it up, right? Like everything is a race issue because that's how it was with any other group of people when they got their quote unquote reparations and checks and balances and stuff like that. Um, we have to get off this thing and understand that we have to make it so that it is in their best interest to compensate us,
Mm-hmm.
right? To get to give us our just due. It's not in their best interest,
No, it's
right?
not.
We don't make it in our best interest, and we actually like to align and be magnanimous in aligning with other groups of folk for their best interest, and they never pay it forward or pay it back or sideways, up, down, left, right, or nothing.
That's what I'm saying, my man. Tell me one thing that the United States government is giving black folks that somebody else hasn't got a hold up to.
Mm-hmm.
One thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I
Nothing.
can't think. I can't think of anything.
I can't think of
I
nothing.
can't think of anything.
Yeah, I
Anything.
can't think of
Civil rights. When we were marching for civil rights, along came the feminist movement. When they were talking about what making everything equal in the job market, along came the women's movement. Along with that, to saying, okay, we're gonna what's I'm trying to think of what it is that they call this.
Well, I think it was the second wave feminist because they said the
Yeah,
first wave feminism was after the freeing of the slaves, and then they was pushing feminism with Sojourner Truth and Frederick
yeah,
Douglass. Actually,
yeah, yeah.
we were pushing that, and then the second wave feminism. Well, they said the first wave feminism was that. Then the other set where they were trying to do feminism again was basically the women's suffragists during the entry to the West. Um, when they start opening up the West with the railroads and stuff like that, then they tried to
Mm-hmm.
do it again after World War One. They tried it again after World War Two, and they actually were successful after Vietnam.
Yeah.
We were really successful after Vietnam, and then what we're looking at in this third wave feminism is a byproduct of that second wave feminism that's been pushed. And then now they're seeing how destructive that was. So now this is their opportunity to go back to a reset button. Right?
Right.
This is a reset because it was affecting minorities and the majority, but the minority in power, the impoverished whites to a certain degree. But now it's really taking its toll, causing birth rates to be at an all-time low. You're being heavy on the senior citizen population. Not senior citizen population, but you're being heavy on the population.
Mm-hmm.
You're also, if you go into war for so long, like you said, since the 90s, most of your youth and your supple minds and people to take the country over and take it in a new direction have been killed off, especially
Right.
the men, right? You got a lot of single mothers running around and stuff like that. Not because of they wanted to be single mothers, but the fathers are gone, right? They're not there to help raise the children and stuff like that. And then they have to take up the mantle. And then Then you got Social Security wearing down. They're barring against this. The Fed rate, the country's going into deficit because of the war machine is broken apart. The United States has stretched itself out like all over the world, being pretty much being like Rome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, with that being said, it was bound something. If this didn't happen, we were teetering to go off the cliff within the next 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah. And that's just simply because people refuse to acknowledge history. And I've been saying this for the last 3 or 4 weeks now. Those who keep denying history is doomed to follow it. And you do to repeat the same things. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're repeating the very same things with the chicken flu that they had, the bird flu that broke out, all the different other tragedies that's happening in this country. Just think about it. It's fourfold in other countries, because actually that's where a lot of the wars have been hanging out at. So they've been dealing with the war and pestilence and disease and all that for a lot longer than we have. And in a lot of cases here in the United States, we are really spoiled to what it is when it comes to saying that poor and impoverished. Our poor and impoverished is rich compared to some of those other folks over there, folks.
Exactly. And I hope, and this is where you do the whole faith thing and hope. As much as people, talk bad about this younger generation, I see a lot of, how should I say it? I see in this generation, I see a lot of, growth. They're not as bad off as we give it. They, and if you really think about it, what more can you ask them to do if we were too busy trying to get it and they had to raise themselves, right? If you really think about it, like they're more self-sufficient in certain aspects, right? You have more entrepreneurs in this newer generation, right, than you had in the previous ones.
Point.
What I mean? Like, these platforms, these social media platforms basically belong to them.
Right.
Right? Like, and they share information to no end. Like, you can literally go on YouTube and go to school. You can go to school on YouTube.
And have just as much as much of a degree as anyone else. So the options are much more than we had maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. What I think is, Dre, I think that with each generation, it comes a point in time where the generation as a whole grows up. Realize that I'm no longer a child. I'm no longer a teenager. I'm no longer a young man. I'm a grown ass man right now. So it's time for me to change my habits. And usually that happens around anywhere from the age of 28 to 35 that people start realizing, you know what? I'm grown now. 50 coming soon.
Yep. Yep. To be completely honest, I think I got out when I was 27. I got out in 8 years. Yeah, I got out when I was 27, and I remember 28, and I remember now.
Right.
Everything in between was a blur.
Right.
And the reason why I remember now is because I know that it's going to rain tomorrow because my knee started hurting.
Right.
That's it. That's it. I'm like, that's it. Like, I know, I'm looking up. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, I'm already like looking at, man. I'm like, I'm 39. And next year, it's gonna be 40. It's like,
no doubt.
I got. If I could stretch it out, I got 40 more good years. Like, I got 40, man, when I mean good years, like good years as in walking this plane.
Yeah, productive years. Right.
Productive years, not sitting up there, pissing on yourself and somebody wheeling your butt into a shower. Like,
right, exactly.
Like these Japanese folk, where, they still walking around at 85 doing whatever they need to do. Talking to their friends and whatever. Then one day you say, where's such and such? Oh, he went to the hospital and he just passed away the next. At 85, 90 years old, that's enough, because anything more than that is just reruns, right?
Right.
You running through it again. But you sitting on the couch falling asleep with your TV dinner, right? You're not even
Right.
watching you.
Drool.
So but you really think about it, I got a dream and a thing, and about 50, I want to be somewhere nice where I can just
Right.
enjoy and kick back and enjoy something for the rest of the time, then with the wife and see my kids and grandkids grow up and hopefully be able to meet some great grandkids at the proper time, not before they need to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but it's just one of those things that when you get to a certain age, you realize, and you look back, and I look back at a lot of times and say, you know what, at this point in my life, if I was just a little bit disciplined, I could have taken advantage of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But as I see from right now, I am who I am from my experiences, and I would not change the path of what I've done, my decisions, or what I've been through. Just in certain instances, I wish I was just a little bit more disciplined.
Right. That's I think that's the majority of everybody's life. We've all done things that, when I was 25, I really wish I had spent more time doing this or doing we all have, I won't say major regrets, but we all have things that we wish that we have done correctly. But you see, with your generation and the younger generations, that they have time to correct their mistakes. Whereas in the generation of the people that's in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s and 80s, the time for change is and I hate to say this, in a lot of cases, time for change is way past them. It's, we can't change that. You can't go back because you're not in a position health wise or financial wise to help change, to move change along. So
Exactly. Oh, Lady Charles, welcome up on the panel.
good morning, Shar. How are you? Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Greetings. I just wanted to give my closing thoughts.
Yes,
Certainly.
yes.
Um, I just came in from the grocery store, and I find that each week that I go out, there's less and less people. Um, please be careful out there. It is serious, and even if you want to think that it isn't serious, they're going to treat it like it is. So you're going to be affected either way it go. It's only so many people in a store at a time. Now they've gotten to the part where they're bagging your groceries. They don't want your bags anymore. They don't care about the environment as the reasoning why they charged us that tax for a bag. So just be safe out there. I'm looking at July, August from what I'm looking at and talking to people. Be safe. That's what I
Right.
have to tell you.
Think about this is just what we're still in May now, April. So you're talking about July, June, July, and August, the hottest months of the year around here, especially in my place in town. August is, the devil wearing a bikini drinking lemonade around here, but it's that hot. It's
Yeah,
that hot. Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
and one reason I said August is only because when the president said that he's going to give you an extra $600 a week for your unemployment for 4 months, I'm going to go with that 4 months. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at August.
Yeah, y'all better. I'm gonna tell y'all don't be spending all them ends up thinking it's cool. Like, oh, I got this extra $600 for this unemployment. Okay, because it's gonna dry up and your bill's still gonna be needed.
Still gonna be needed.
Yeah,
Still gonna be needed. And again, just because they see a lot of folks, the mandatory stay at home thing has been lifted in parts of China, and I'm sure that a lot of American folks gonna look at that. It's all right in China, but you're talking about 76 days of
yeah,
folks being locked in their house.
yeah. 76 days, and all that is for a head count. They
Right.
doing a test run because if it break again, they going back in.
Right back in.
If somebody step out the line, they going back in. But they understand they live in an authoritarian society, right? Because the reason they was able to come out of it because they ain't had people running around like that. Because if they did, they wouldn't be around. They probably
Right.
in jail somewhere in some prison camp because they ain't listening. that you don't know nothing about. Snatch them up at nighttime. You know,
Take him in.
just like them doctors that reported it the first time. Where they at? Can't find them.
Can't find him.
Where they at?
We know the main one. He passed away. The main whistleblower, as they called it, he passed away. So imagine that.
Yeah, imagine
I,
that.
I don't think we'll ever get a true picture of what happened over there in China because it's so convoluted. Politicians are over there just as bad as the politicians here, and they're not under authoritative society. So imagine what they're not telling the people.
Exactly. And so I like to thank everybody for coming in. Let me go through this list of folk. If our super mod, if Char's there, if we can drop the links for the radio show. I think you guys can go back and listen to last yesterday's broadcast. Uh, which was great. My wife was listening to it and she loved it. She was having some issues sleeping because of what's going on, and she was listening to it, and it actually soothed her and put her to sleep. So she wanted me to pass that on to you.
Thank you for tuning in.
So the other, so we got Vonda H. Thank you for coming through the Ebony Star Network, Earth of the Nation, always supporting Char Willie, Black Pill Paradise, Jay Sean Randall. Please check that brother out. I love his commentary. I love the brother Jay Sean's commentary. Everybody else that was in the chat, Poetic Kells, of course, the esteemed Supreme Elder here, DJ Music. Uh, Malika coming through once again. CRU Reality, crew, always a pleasure. Chaos Reigns. Let's see who else that we came through and showed support. Bismillah Rabani. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm not butchering your name. Thank you for coming through and showing support earlier. And everybody else that if I didn't mention you, and for all the viewers that were watching that didn't feel comfortable typing in the chat, please go ahead and type in the chat. Just say hi to everybody. You don't have to say too much or whatever. Um, I'll put in the description my email address if y'all have any questions. I really want to get off of this COVID-19 um, um, subject matter, but that's all that's permeating in the news. When I do these streams, say defer, defer, defer. Yep, save, and defer, defer, defer. Um, and yeah, please go check the replays at the email address at the the web address in the description. Coming on later today, there will be a live stream on the Gray Regime Television. I think we're doing movie night again. Big Trouble in Little China. We'll be doing our commentary. We'll take a 1 hour movie and make a 1.5 hour movie, make it 3 to 4 to 5 hours. If you're bored, you're getting tired of the same old. We do that on Twitch, or you can just go to Gray Regime .tv to check that out. We'll probably start the Cerulean Gray will probably start the stream off on YouTube as usual, and then we'll migrate over. We usually have our resident esteemed Supreme Elder DJ Music there with his commentary, with the Sharja Cursor as the he will be what we call a derelict explaining the whole time. It's very funny. It's very informative, and things of that nature. So if we have any if Vonda or Char's in the chat, I think Ladies Night will be what on Fridays or Saturdays. Um, Char has her panel on Fridays and Saturdays. I think DJ Music. I think we do something on the weekend, also on YouTube. So we're packed full for the whole week. I just take this time. I kind of like this midday for everybody else, but for me, it is almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So I usually take this midday. I like the midday for everybody else. Gives y'all a time to take a break. People are just waking up, kind of like that drive time in the morning. You're going in, you're hitting your lunch break. That AM FM talk radio thing going down. But I appreciate everybody coming through once again. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to play nothing. Actually, I'm just going to end the broadcast. I'll see you guys again on the flip side. Just remember this evening, Great Regime TV movie night is going down. I think it's Big Trouble in Little China, and I think it's another one. We're going to do a double header. All right. So appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming through. Great show once again. This show's been you guys been awesome, and we just had 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, like it's great. Y'all have a great time. Be safe. Get in contact with your loved ones. Defer, as Char would say it. As Varda would say it, save. Check out movie night tonight at greatregime.tv. Check out the Just Ask Char channel. Check out DJ Music. Check out his channel. Check out the Ebony Star Network with the brother Maximum Black over there with Vonda and all. But peace, love, and everything. And once again, remember, no one can beg you to be great.